we understand as a part of the Asian continent, but it is a sub-region in itself to the extent that it is called as a region, though it is called the Indian subcontinent also, that particular part. Because the productive countries are initially of Indian origin. The major characteristics of the region are that the region is India-centric. And as a result of India-centric, the other things emerge. Because the countries which are smaller states, they are smaller in size, they have their past in India in terms of culture, in terms of heritage. Therefore, the problem for them, by and large, is the crisis of identity. They have no way to survive. But as and when the things start, the issue comes up, the India comes in. Because it is because of India. It is surrounded by Indian Ocean, the only the country which is the region as such a big ocean and is named in one country. And this India-centric characteristic makes India positive and negative both. Positive in the sense that it is a bigger country. All countries of South Asian region touch the boundary of India, and none of them touch each other. Two, this is Indian position in terms of strategy, in terms of war. There are interior lines of fighting and exterior lines of fighting. India has interior lines of supply for all the countries, because all countries are attached to India geographically. The other thing is that India has the responsibility of taking care. So this is what Modi has gone for. Though the way he is talking there is debatable, whether the language, the tone which he is using, as if he is talking in that. This is my personal opinion that his diplomatic posture is not very good. When we see his speech on the television, we find as if he is talking in Hindi. Then the other thing which is the disposition of India-centric overshadows the economy and the socio-cultural structure. Because they inherit India, their background is India, therefore it has its impact also. Not going much in detail because within 10 minutes I have time to speak too much. I'm just making the foundation. As a result, all South Asian states see India as the main stakeholder in the region, in the economy, in the political scenario, and in the security structure. Secondly, the geographic centrality makes India the important hub for transporting goods and services. This makes the things asymmetric, and asymmetric in terms of economic, political, but and in terms of security, the structured security formulation, which neither fit into the new security situation nor the demands, which result as a consequence of the post-Cold War scenario. And nor it satisfies the needs of the South Asian people for a sustained peace and sustainable development. Now these three things are interrelated, that peace, development and security. Because of the identity crisis, the smaller countries continue doubting India's posture. Because of India's bigger size, India acts as a bigger brother, as a result which again is misunderstood and misrepresented sometimes. And the biggest thing which is that India is Pakistan, because Pakistan has its inherence in India, and it was created on the basis of the two-nation theory, which since morning we have been talking has problems and problems. Some of them are inherent, some of them are situational, and I don't want to go into the details, but the fact is that both countries, you may call it a snake and ladder situation, you may call it anything, but the fact is that as and when we start talking, we stop talking, we talk and we again come to square one. So it is a continuous process, and it has to be continued like that, because because the things have changed in view of the post-Cold War security scenario, particularly the traditional concept of military-centric or security-centric is shifting onto the changed threats. The threats have become more non-traditional, and in view of the non-traditional security, the trans-border dispensations have interplayed as far as the new threats are concerned. Because if we try to find out the new the threats, to name some of them is terrorism, poverty, population growth, health, environment, cultural, religious, and ethnic antagonism. This makes the states, as such, the region, more and more insecure. The interplay of socio-cultural and religious aspect interplay in a way that sometimes the religion comes in the first position and the socio-cultural goes in the background. But the fact is that socio-cultural has greater inherence than this is my way of thinking, that religion has lesser value as far as the relationship is concerned. The relations are more, even in the Indian society, you see the class society which is there. It has much deeper meaning than the religious. I will be Sikh, that's a different question. I may be Hindu, that's a different question. But I am a Jat. My Jat attachment is much more deeper than my Sikh and Hindu relationship. We may accept it or we may not accept it, but the fact is, even if we go to the fanatic religious this thing, even there we could not remove these things because of the deeper inherent of this phenomenon. Now, because these issues, the interplay of people, the new scenario, which has the interplay of people, poverty, proliferation, power asymmetry, and protracted conflicts, which do not allow the establishment of peace, stability, or the situation, and it tends to make complex security situations in South Asia. I read a tab. Considering the security of South Asia, it concerns the well-being of nearly 1.3 to 1.5 billion people seeking stability and economic development. Security, which should not be taken as protection in military terms, involves the economic well-being of the people for lasting peace, stability, and cooperation. That is what we are more concerned about. It may be in the form of what the keynote speaker has been talking about. It is a fact. The interrelationship between the two types of hostilities, between the states and between the people, may be said to define the South Asian security complex, where most security threats emerge from within the states, only to poison the relations between the states. So India-Pakistan relationship and the relation are a predominant position. And the security of South Asia, if we come on to the concluding situations, the South Asian security could be enhanced by way of making the countries of the region more interdependent and less antagonistic. this is hypothetical. This will be done, this can be done, the energy security can be there, the trade can be there. But despite the trade, despite those things, the relationship, the political relationship is beyond the solution. Even today, the people-to-people context, SAARC has been trying and has played a wonderful role, but the deeper scenario is difficult to change because of the set ideas, set perceptions about each other. The last, if India and Pakistan could have resisted the pressure to be sucked into the Cold War struggle, divert their resources in social sectors, it could be an abode for peace and prosperity. Their assertive and hegemonic ambitions undoubtedly resulted in accentuating the sense of insecurity, which compounded with historical legacy and deep-seated antipathy against each other, that led to an action-reaction vicious pattern of arms acquisition. The only beneficiaries of such a situation, of course, are the world traders of arms. That is where this race of words going to the security-centric has to be changed to economic-centric or social-centric. Is it possible? This was yet to be history has proved to the contrary, and it is yet to be seen whether the expectations of the shift from security-centric to that of economic or trade or commerce-centric or to social-centric can be achieved or not. This is yet to be seen. But no doubt, if it is, even if it has not been achieved so far, the continuous efforts have to be made so that then for hope. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Because during the war, few people being killed. But when we see the environmental issues, that only the not only the human beings, the species on the earth will also be affected. And both the economies directly are in the stage of the transforming. Both the economies of India and Pakistan are trying very hard to achieve high growth rate in terms of agriculture, in terms of industrialization, in order to fulfill the requirement of the food grains for the population. That both the economies are trying very hard to develop agriculture sector and to enhance employment and transfer the excess population from agricultural industry. They are trying to develop industrial sector, but in this process they are forgetting only one important aspect. They are compromising on environmental issues, and due to this they are facing the problems of the climate change, global warming, as the key speaker mentioned in the morning session. So here I am touching these issues basically because these are very pertinent issues in case of the sustainable development. As a student of economics, so we are aware about the techniques of the sustainable development. There are three important aspects of the sustainable development. One is the economic development, another is the social development, and third is the environmental issues. So this particular concept that was introduced at the global level in 1967. Then in 1972 in UN Stockholm Conference, Sweden, it was popularized at the global level. Then when you see the development, in 1987 the Big Darwaje Conference, in 1990 to 1993, Johannesburg Conference, the Geneva Conference. This issue was discussed again and again in 2002. Again this issue was discussed again and again. And now it is in the new issue of the military separate clause. In environmental issues, so my concern here is to discuss only the environmental issues because both the countries are facing the problem of the pollution, noise pollution, water pollution, air pollution. The result is a global warming, climate change. Nowadays, if you see that we are having severe rain, not only in particular part of the country, almost all over the country. And the farmers they are affected worstly by these rains. So what are the regions? The regions may be related to the environmental issues. So that is why that I have selected only one objective. The main aim of this paper is to analyze the cause of environmental degradation with special reference to deforestation, climate change, and air pollution in India and Pakistan. So both the countries are the part and parcel of the South Asia, as Professor Sidhu mentioned. The India and Pakistan continents are a part of the South Asian region, which also includes Bangladesh, Afghanistan, Nepal, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, and Maldives. The South Asian regions encompasses, if we see in total, 3% of the total world's net mass is very small part. Population-wise, we are very strong. We are very rich. About 20% of the total world population in 1990. That living in this region, expected population 2025 survey report, World Bank report also that about 25% of the total world population living in this region, and the major part will be shared by the second largest populous country of the world, India. So these are the concerns basically here that the population is increasing, nothing like that, but resources and resources, we are over-exploiting the resources also. That is why we are compromising on the environmental issues. Population living in rural areas about 75% in both the countries. Population below poverty line about 30%. Density of population 100% per square kilometer. This is very high in comparison of European countries, developed economies. The ratio is hardly 5 to 10 kilometers, but here this is hardly 2 kilometers per square meter. Kilometer. Urban population is increasing rapidly because they have pressure on both the economies. Urbanization is increasing day by day, and GDP growth rates are around 5 to 6% in both of the economies. These are the features. One important side is in terms of the population that in 2025, India 1,442 million. Pakistan is a little better, they are 267 million. So Indian side that according to a survey report by 2013 we may overcome China in terms of population. So what is the fate of the Indian side? We are not bothering about that because population will become so dangerous in terms of the resources that we are not able to generate the resources in the ratio of the population. Now the important aspect if you see about the HDI, because nowadays you will find two types of indices at the global level. One is in terms of the GDP, another in terms of the HDI. In terms of the GDP, India is performing better, but in terms of the HDI, India is performing poor. Similarly, when you see the Pakistan side, Pakistan even have the no population advantage but no HDI is very poor. This is 0.515 also. Bangladesh and little better than the Nepal and Afghanistan. But both the countries they must concentrate, they must see here that where they are doing wrong. So when Professor Sidhu also mentioned about the security concerns about that side. So when we see about the security and all that side, if we see this year budget also that our government has allocated maximum finance to defense sector, they should think about the development projects also, particularly the projects which may enhance the HDI level in our country. And Pakistani people, they must also think that they must divert the funds by providing more education, more health facilities, more transportation facilities, drinking water facilities to the people in their country. And similarly, that we people should think about on these lines so that HDI index will be able to enhance in comparison of the other countries, because we are very poor in this context. So HDI level in both the countries, in Pakistan and India, that is not appreciable, and both the countries are having the weaknesses. So both the countries must concentrate on these issues. They must think about the people of their countries and not about the war and about all these things. So they must divert the resources towards the HDI improvement. With the climate in India and Pakistan, the regions are characterized by a tropical monsoon climate. The most important feature is the seasonal alteration of atmosphere flow patterns associated with the monsoon. Two monsoon systems operate in these regions: the southwest or summer monsoon and the northeast or winter monsoon. The rainfall during the summer monsoon largely accounts for the total annual rainfall over most of the area and forms a deployed in both the countries, and as our Honorable Vice Chancellor mentioned in the morning that up to 19 projects in both the countries were moved. So we belong to the same region, same area. So obviously most of the characteristics we are having the common. When you see the key parameters of economic development, I have taken only two parameters. One is the food and another is the water supply. Because in future, both the countries will face the acute shortage of these two. And as far as concerned, in case of India, that we are more concerned because we will become the largest populous country of the world. So in this case that we have to provide the food security to the largest population of the world. Similarly, there is the shortage of the water supply, so both the countries must plan diligently so that there will be the shortage of the water in future. When is the emission scenario, fossil fuel and biomass burning, per capita emissions of greenhouse gases are very low in both the countries. India is the only country heavily dependent on coal or coal energy. In the region, biofuel consumption is also large for India, but estimates vary widely. Pakistan, oil and natural gas consumption, but in case of India, coal and biofuel energy they are following, and in Pakistan, oil and natural gas. Then this is the diagram that here we can see carbon dioxide, monoxide emissions. These are much in these two countries, and in case of the carbon dioxide emissions, these are low. But as we are aware that carbon monoxide emissions are more serious in comparison to carbon dioxide emissions. Pollution scenario, if you see the pollution scenario, several of the world's most polluted cities are found in both the countries, Calcutta, Delhi, Mumbai and Karachi, for example. Of mega cities that produce unacceptable high emissions of health, gaseous and particulate matter. Vehicular pollution is a major contributing source, especially two-wheelers and diesel-driven heavy trucks. So this is the story of both the countries. Now you see some pictures that you can see these relates to both the countries. Here you see the air pollution sources, gases that how these are increasing day by day in both the countries. If you see coal, kerosene, other liquid fuels, that how we are using and how the economies of both the countries will be affected. Similarly, if you see the vehicular pollution, again you are having the pictures of both the countries. When you see the air pollution, when you see either by air route, by sea route, by land route, that in all the three routes there is the pollution that is increasing day by day. If you see the industrialization, due to the industrialization, this power generation and all that side, this is the scenario of the we are having in both the countries. So that is why there is a threat to the environment due to these reasons. And if you see the other side, the industrial waste, that these two countries they are not serious about the industrial waste also. That is why it has become the big headache in both the countries, and they are not performing their. If you see the deforestation, so I have ordered from my chair. So deforestation, that it is also increasing day by day, and that is why the economy of both the countries are affected. So a little bit about the pollution side. Now you see the computer science because my chairman has asked me to compute it. So anyhow, finally the analysis shows that the pollution are dominated in both the countries. Deforestation, high density of population, forestry, climate change, air pollution, and global warming. So these are the issues that these two economies are facing presently, and it will not take years, we will also face in future also. But anyhow, I have given the suggestions also. Power generation, that codes must be followed in this side, and power generation, thermal power generation, they should minimize it, and they should find out the alternate ways. So India is progressing in this area. Similarly, building codes, that both the countries must follow this system, building code system. They must have the air and then the light system in the buildings also, so that you will use less air conditioning facility and all that side. Waste management, there is a need